Hey everyone, welcome to FreeCode. My name is Anish and I'll be one of your instructors this semester. Before we get started, I just wanted to say that you don't need any coding experience to succeed here. Our goal is to make programming fun, interactive, and easy to understand. Don't be afraid to ask any questions or make mistakes. That's how everyone learns here. Today, we're going to learn the basics of Python, one of the most popular programming languages for beginners. Even though it's beginner friendly, it's also used by professionals to build websites, create AI models, analyze data, and even automate tasks. By the end of today's lesson, you'll know enough to write your first Python program. Well, why do people choose Python? First, it's really easy to read. The code almost looks like normal English, which makes it really easy to understand compared to other languages. Second, its versatility. You can use Python to build websites, create games, work with artificial intelligence, analyze data, and much more. Also, it's really popular. Companies like Google and Netflix use Python every day, so learning it is a valuable skill. And finally, it's really powerful. Even though it may seem really easy to learn, you can build some of the coolest projects that have ever been produced. Now let's talk about data types. A data type is simply the kind of information you're storing. A string is text, and it's always within quotation marks. For example, hello world is encompassed between two quotation marks. Next are integers, which are whole numbers like 42 or -7. Then come floats, which are numbers with a decimal, like 3.14. As we write programs, choosing the correct data type becomes really important because different data types can do different things. So, where do we store all this information? Now, we use something called variables. Think of a variable like a labeled box. The label is the variable's name, and inside the box is the information you want to save. For example, score equals 100. The computer now remembers that the variable called score has the value 100. Later in the program, we can use score instead of writing 100 over and over again. Now, programs just don't store information, they also communicate with us. The print function is how the computer talks to us. It displays text on the screen. For example, print game over will actually print game over in the terminal section in your IDE or integrated development environment. The input function does the opposite. It lets the user type into the program, which basically will take in a string even if the user types in a number. Now it's your turn. We're going to be creating a simple Mad Libs game. You'll ask the user for different words using the input function, store them in variables, and then use the print function to combine everything into a funny story. This activity will help you practice everything we've learned so far today. For your final challenge today, you will write a program that calculates how old your pet or your dream pet will be in the year 2050. To do this, you'll use variables, some simple math, and the print function. Don't worry if it isn't perfect. The goal should just be able to practice the things we've learned in today's lesson. Great job, everyone! Today you've learned what Python is, why it's so popular, and how to use data types, variables, and inputs and outputs to create your own program. These are the building blocks of almost every Python program you'll ever write. Next week, we'll build on these concepts and start creating even cooler projects. If you have any questions before you leave, feel free to put them below in the comment section. Otherwise, I'll see you all next week. Thank you.